All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, August 5th, 6 p.m. This is the Board of Franklin County Commissioners 2021 County Budget hearing. So, we need a roll call, please.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Present.
Commissioner Howard?
Present.
Chair Waymeyer?
Present.
Vice Chair Dickinson?
Present.
Commissioner Dunn?
Present.
All right, our sole item of business is the 2021 county budget, and we're going to start off with a presentation from staff.
Yeah, I think presentation may be a bit overstated. As we said this morning, we've been through every line of this budget with the commissioners. We stand for any questions that you may have. We can go over some highlights if you want, but this is largely the same budget that existed last year. It's increased to account for raises for staff pursuant to our pay plan. But other than that, our department heads have kept this largely flat. And so any specific questions, by all means ask. The mill levy is actually going down. The proposed budget has our mill levy going down 0.8 of a mill. And the 2020 budget, which we're operating on this year, was down 0.7 of a mill. So over 20 and 21, we're looking at a decrease in taxes of 1.5 mills, which is something we're very proud of, and certainly proud of my staff and the elected officials, because you don't arrive at 1.5 mills tax decrease without hard work. And so appreciate their work in helping us arrive at this point. Janet, is there anything you want to add?
I don't believe so. I will just say that as you guys know, our reserves have increased over the past several years, and we plan to continue with that in the 2021 budget, provided that you guys approve that. As we discussed this morning, you have $1.8 million in your capital improvement fund and just over $1.2 million in your equipment reserve. And as you guys know, that's really important when we're talking about projects and funding those with cash in hand instead of funding them with money that we have to borrow. So as you guys know, we're at the district court project approved this morning, and we continue to be able to fund those things with cash. So.
Well, any questions? Obviously, we've had this is the end of a process, so this is not the first time we've talked about this, thought about this, been working on it all along. But are any questions or comments before we look to open the hearing?
I don't have a question. I just like to make a quick comment. Being on the commission, I want to just tell the department heads, do appreciate what you did. And Janet and Derek put a lot of time. A lot of others were involved. Appreciate it. Early on in the process, we decided to keep the community partners all flat. I heard nobody called me about that. They were fine, I think, with that, understood the whole situation. And like Cole said, we went over this several times, actually talked about it, different things. We had a study session, didn't we? Was it a study session or
Yeah,
regular
we have.
meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Went over the whole thing. So we've all seen it quite a bit, even though it is basically the same as last year. But I just want to throw out there my thanks for the department heads to understand what we're going through right now and helping. That's it.
I just have a comment. It is flat, except for we are giving the raises, and I'm really glad that we can consider doing that. We really didn't know what COVID was going to do to us, and we've kept a flat budget, and we've done good. And I've thought a lot as I think about all of the different services that our county provides. That you guys have all done an excellent job of providing great services, even through all that we've been going through this year. So you're keeping it flat, you're providing the services, and we appreciate you.
Do we need to vote to open the budget hearing, or is it just a?
Yeah, Yeah, I would.
I got one question. The only question I got is the sales tax for the hospital. I've been approached to ask how that revenue is being utilized, that tax revenue for the hospital, and how much control do we have over how they use that revenue?
None whatsoever. It was voted in, that's its sole purpose, we have no discretion over how it's spent. It's a pass-through, I mean, we show it in our budget, but it's a pass-through revenue. It's a county-wide levied tax, but it was put there by the voters and has no sunset, so it would have to be voted off. But we have no control over it. That was its use when it was voted in. Is that?
Yeah.
If you look at the certificate page of our budget, in the bottom half, we did increase what we were going to budget for them to $2.5 million this year because we have an obligation to give them every dollar that we receive. And as you guys will know, in the past several years, we've had to do a budget amendment at the end of the year because sales tax revenue has been coming in really strong. And it's the same for the county as it is for that portion that goes to the hospital. We get to utilize every bit that we get, and we have to give them every bit we get, but we have to budget it. So I did increase that to $2.5 million because we've been going over, just slightly over $2 million every year for the past couple of years in that particular fund, so.
Roy can correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of get the feeling I have too, a little bit. We always used to get a quarterly report on what is being done and what they're spending the money on, which we haven't, I don't remember the last 2 years getting one of those reports. And I know we don't have control, but it is kind of nice when the community asks us, they know the money's going there, but they kind of have to, for me or somebody on the board to be able to say, well, they just got this new equipment, or they just did this, or they, they're doing something. We got some idea. We know it's going over there, but we don't know, no clue. We used to get a quarterly report. Not saying we need a quarterly report, but even a couple times a year to kind of give us an idea of what it's a whole structure now, it's different.
That's right. And I think in some ways we lost some of that community, some of those community relationships when the affiliation happened. Now, that being said, I'm happy to reach out to Advent Health and ask them if they would send someone over to give the occasional report. But I do know that, since they affiliated, the relationships, it's just not at the same level as it was. And I think we all kind of anticipated that would happen. It's not to say they're not doing a good job. That's not to say they're hard feelings. I, by all accounts, think they're doing fine, and there aren't hard feelings. We still work with them, but I think some of that stuff, the occasional reporting, has kind of went by the wayside. But I am happy to reach out to their CEO over there and see if we can get that started back up. Because if you all are getting questions on how that money is being used, certainly that would be, Janet and I can't answer that. Like, Colt can't answer that. We're not part of that organization, so we would need somebody from Advent to come over and present, but I'm happy to ask that question.
I guess kind of what I mean is it's even before and now, the one thing that hasn't changed, it's still our tax dollars. Before and now, it's still our tax dollars. And I know we don't get to say where and how it's spent, but it'd be nice to know if we just kind of had an idea how it's being spent.
Sure. I
That's all.
understand.
Someone like to make a motion to open the budget hearing for the 2021 Franklin County budget?
I'll make that motion.
John, would somebody like second it? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Budget hearing's open. Would anybody like to speak about the 2021 proposed budget?
If anyone has any questions, they can just come up to the podium, state your name and address, and ask the commission your question regarding the budget.
And once. Anyone, I'll ask again before we look to close it. Don't want to leave anybody out. Would anyone like to speak about the proposed 2021 county budget? All right. Certainly doesn't appear so. So would look for a motion to adjourn, to close the budget. Not to adjourn, not yet.
I would make the motion to
Close the budget hearing.
close the budget hearing.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Close the public comment portion of the budget hearing. With that, we would need to,
If there aren't any more questions, I think Colt is about to ask for a motion to approve the 2021 budget. So if you have any questions, I would say ask now. Otherwise, obviously, we would love to have that motion. So.
Chairman, I don't have a question, but I'll be able to make a comment. You know, I've kind of been, this is my 16th budget, and I appreciate their staff, and and I can tell you, everybody thinks it's the same every year. Well, it's not. You know, I can see all kinds of differences over the 16 years, and things you have to, with caps showing up and different COVID showing up, and, you know, it's just a revolving. You think it'd just be a simple, you know, let's just make out another line item again this year. And it sounds simple when we say, well, we're just going to hold it the same. Well, we're keeping the dollar the same, but the whole structure of where different dollars go and where it goes. But and even from the beginning of when we had our meeting, when we met earlier in the year and just kind of got it all on the foot, it really wasn't the dollars and cents of the thing, but it was the idea of what we're going to try and do through the whole budget to end up with this. I mean, you know, we didn't put dollars and cents on the beginning. We just, the staff just give us a lot of good things to think about and what directions we might go. And through all the hectic with what's going on, I feel that it's done. I just hope next year it's not this hectic. And when it even limited our times to meet with people and talk with people because we're trying to be careful. So and that's all I got to say, but I appreciate the staff and all the work.
Well, and I appreciate that, Don. And one thing I would say, and I know Colt says this a lot, the annual budget is the most important policy decision that the commissioners make. And I will tell you, Janet and I are incredibly proud of our budgets and certainly would defend our budgets line by line. You know, we sit here in these meetings and we've said publicly, you know, if you have any questions, please ask. Ask us questions. We love to talk about it. I had an interview with COFO where I said, you know, we're having our budget hearing tonight at 6 o'clock. You have any questions, please contact me, contact Janet. We love to talk about our budget. I never got a single call from anyone about the budget. And so, you know, and rarely do we get questions. You know, rarely do we have attendance here. It's primarily my staff that shows up. And so, Janet, did you hear from the public with questions about?
I did not have any questions from the public. And I think at a couple of our meetings, whether they were in Zoom or in person, I told the public, you know, that now is the time, the budgets are available in my office, and I really haven't had anyone ask for any while I've been there, and with limited number of meetings in person, I spend the majority of my time in my office now unless I'm away for lunch or something. So, no, I did not have any questions about the budget.
say, of course, I don't have the experience Don has, as many years, but looking back historically over budgets, sometimes revenues come in well, sometimes there's opportunities. You have a budget you feel really good about, and there's challenges, it goes away. I definitely think recently, just time and time again, this is another budget in a good direction. We were able to lower tax rate. we're able to take care of our employees and build a budget around that. We're able to move in a direction where we are paying for projects, not issuing debt. So the more your money can be used, the tax dollars can be used for services, not to service that debt. It's just another budget in a line of them. We're really starting a trend in the right direction. It's not a one-off good year. It is a trend, and I'm glad it's another budget in the right direction. So.
Thought about that this morning when we were going through our list of things that we had to do, you know, that really, this really is truly the biggest decision that we make every year, because like, so if they come and they need a new road grader, it's in their budget. And so unless there's a good reason for them not to get it, then they're gonna get it, you know, so because, you know, almost everything that's didn't ask for, if it's in their budget, you know, we consider it, so truly.
I just want to say that I appreciate all the elected officials and our department heads working with Janet and Derek to put this budget together. I know Don and I have experienced extreme difficulties on our budget hearing when you couldn't even have standing room in this room, and it was very contentious and very problematic. But the way the budget's going now with Janet and Derek heading up the team, I appreciate how it's gone so smoothly and worked out well, and I was able to keep the tax rate flat, which is also an indication that the community is growing and our valuations are going up. So two combinations make it so we can stay flat. That's a good sign for all of Franklin County. So,
Roy, I'd just make one note on that. You said that the valuations are going up. The key to that is that we have development that's coming on the tax rolls. So when you say our valuations are going up, we have a lot of new development that comes on, and that helps the other taxpayers not feel the burden, you know, when we do give our employees raises and stuff. We have a lot of new housing starts, you know, out in Westwood is filling up. We had Hasty Awards has been on abatement with the city of Ottawa, and they came back on the tax rolls this year. So we have the new Project Kime Trucking out at Wellsville that came on the tax rolls at almost $1 million of assessed value, which is an amazing number for us to be able to put some money in reserves and like Colt said, pay for projects with cash. So when you say valuations are going up, we're not just talking about each of your homes in this community, but we're talking about new development that's coming in, and I think Paul continues to work really hard on that, so that's important to note.
Great point. Something
I'm
you
glad
hear
you-
cynically.
glad you brought that up. 'Cause
Cynically,
that's,
that
what's going on out there in the county is developments and not just valuations on my property. It's
The new,
So
where the
that-
old Lincoln School was, all of those, and those are
Absolutely.
those are happening quick.
Yep.
So congratulations, Derek and Janet, for putting this together.
Oh.
Thank you.
You know, it's interesting. I think the last thing I would say, hey, there are so many things that I feel like I could, just rave about. Like I don't think I have ever felt as good about our leadership team, meaning the department heads and the elected officials from top to bottom. I've never felt as good about that as I do right now. Our employee morale, I think, is higher than it's ever been. Positions where we have had historical vacancies and trouble filling, custodians, dispatchers, corrections officers, every one of those positions is fully staffed. I've not seen a fully staffed maintenance department since I've been here, but it's fully staffed. No dispatch, fully staffed. Jeff, are you still fully staffed in the jail?
We are down a couple right now.
Okay, but you were as of,
We were, but college is starting back up. So
Okay. That all being said, I really do think that this right here is the best thing that we do. I think the way we budget and the way we work together as a team to save taxpayer dollars, I think it's the best of what my staff and I have to offer. And so I can't thank them enough, can't thank Janet enough. I'm really proud of these budgets that we put in front of you. So, and that's all I have, Cole.
I might say one other thing. I appreciate all our partners that we contribute funds for their operations. Stayed flat too with our contributions, and I appreciate that cooperation too.
I don't want to be guilty of hurrying anybody along, so if there's anything else, this is an important decision, and give everybody the chance to speak, but if not, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the proposed 2021 county budget?
I'm picking up a pizza at 6:30, so I will make a motion to approve the 2021 budget.
Right, is there a second?
Second?
Commissioner Stottlemyre,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Chair Waymire.
Yes. All right. Well, with that, we'd look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned.